Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to this game's tutorial. Today, we fix stuff. We start fixing stuff. So I've said, last episode I've said that we're going to be fixing a lot of bugs that we have. And we're going to start with the most dangerous one, or the biggest one. A corrupted save file, or the wrong save file. So with the whole cloud saving thing we did last episode, we created some kind of bugs that we are addressing today. So we're fixing the reset save. Now it works. Whenever we press on reset save, we actually reset both the cloud and the local save, and we overwrite them basically. And there was also another bug that we addressed. It's the fact that if you go outside and you just start playing the game and you're not connected to the cloud, you're gonna do some progress. Then when you come back to somewhere where there's Wi-Fi, you're gonna prioritize the cloud save on top of the other save that you had. But maybe you're further in your progress on the other save, and then you're just wasting all that progress. It goes to waste because you're loading the cloud save. We're fixing that by implementing a timestamp on our save game, and that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today. So that's the that's the first few steps we're going to take into fixing our game. There's a lot more bugs out there, but we're going to start with the most dangerous one. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we said we're going to be tackling some errors today, and that's exactly what we're going to start by doing. So the biggest error I want to tackle, not error, sorry, I'm talking about bugs. So all the little bugs we introduce, there's a whole list I've got on my other screen right here, and just to name a few. Well, the loading thing is all messed up, we can't really reset a save anymore. That is what we're going to be fixing today. Next one, we get some kind of pop-up whenever we try to convert currency, even though we do have currency. That's one of them as well. Right now I can't really show you because I don't have any. Sometimes when we speed up the game, we spawn two waves at the same time. Sometimes the enemy won't hit, and it's hard to click on the menu. The max level is not really 200, and a bunch of those. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next few episodes, guys. But today, I would like to start with one of the biggest concerns that I've introduced in the last episode, actually. So it has to do with the reset save button over here. When I click on it, well, first, we get this error, which is not acceptable, and it also does not really reset the save. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be creating some kind of reset save that works for both the local save and also the cloud save. And it's something else that we'll implement inside of our save file. So we're just going to put a new entry inside of our save string. We are going to put a timestamp. So let's just assume that I am on my phone and I'm playing locally right now. I don't have the Wi-Fi. I go on a bus, whatever, and I just I start making progress in the game, and then it saves on my local save. And now when I come back home and I boot my game again, it's actually going to prefer the cloud saving. So it's a previous version of my game. It's actually going to take this one and then just go from there. So we actually lost some progress. So what we'll be doing today is we're going to be adding a timestamp. We're going to be adding a timestamp to our save game, so it always takes the most recent one. And we're also going to fix the reset save thingy. So the first thing I'd like to do is head over to the tower script, and we're going to create a new function that is going to take care of just creating a new save string. So you know how we have this, if we just go down there, collapse everything. Where is it? Okay, so down here we have this function called getSaveString. Now this is always going to just get everything inside of the array and then just returns us the save string. We don't really want to modify that at all. What we're going to do instead is we're going to create a new private string function that we're going to call getEmptySaveString. Oops. And we're going to be calling this whenever we try to reset our save. So we get an empty save file, which is basically everything is on 0. And we just apply it. And then we save with that. So we overwrite our last save using an empty save string. That's how we reset. And now the way we're going to be doing it is a little bit weird. And before actually doing that, let me quickly add the timestamp that I've talked about. I'm sorry, I'm doing that in the wrong order, but I just realized that I need to have a timestamp before I get to do this. So we're going to head over to the save. Actually, we're going to get over to the get save string, And inside of the get save string over here, the first thing we'll save is actually the timestamp. And then after saving a timestamp, we're gonna do total time, that's already done, and so on. So let me just break this properly. Yeah, that's gonna be on the other line, that's going to be on the other line as well. And we're gonna add something just before the total playtime, and that's going to be what we're gonna be adding before is actually a date time dot now, so the present moment right now dot ticks, and we're gonna do a toString on that. So whenever we do this, we also need to put a percentage sign in between of those, and that's our new get save string. So we added this thing over here. Alright, that sounds proper, that sounds good. What is the next step to take? We also need to be able to load this back up. So we're gonna head over to the load from string, and where is it? Over here. This is the timestamp and time and highest completed wave. Now I don't really need to know when is the last time we actually saved our game. I don't really want to know actually, so what we'll do is we'll just leave it inside of the array, but we won't touch it. We'll actually test out this thing later on in another function, but right here we don't need it. So what I'll do is the playtime since save is now at the index 1, and the highest wave completed is now at the index 2 of the misc array. And that's pretty much how we just implemented a timestamp, and let's actually visualize it. I'd like to show you guys how this looks. So inside of my get empty save string, I will start by doing a string save string is equal to let's get a save string from the other function. Then I'll do a debug.log just to show you guys how it looks. And below this, we will create another string that we'll call new save. So that's the one that's going to pretty much just take over the save string. And you know what? Let's actually create two debug.log entries so we can look at them side by side and actually be able to tell the difference if there's any. Let's keep going. This has to return, let's do a return new save. Just like this. Oops. And before we do anything, let's just actually look at this get empty save string. So where exactly could we be putting this? We need to call this from the button, obviously, but the button is on the actual menu manager, so we'll need another function. Wherever it says reload save data, we don't actually need this anymore, so let's wipe it, and let's, instead of having that, we're going to create a public void reset save. And inside of that, we'll call the we'll call the get empty save string. Just to test out stuff. Alright. Now we should get an error somewhere because we pretty much destroy one of our function. Let's double click on that error. And it is going to bring us inside of the menu manager where we do a reset, where we used to do the reload save data whenever we reset the game. Instead of doing a player pref delete all and all that kind of good stuff, we are going to do a reset save on that button. Very well, let's head back in the game and actually do what I've said. We're gonna be visualizing our save string right now. And here we go. So we got a tons of error right now. We can't really deal with that at the moment. It says array index is out of range, and that is totally normal. This is a normal behavior, and that is because our old save structure, we're trying to read using the new save structure, but then all we have in our saves is the old one. So we need to delete it. Let's head over to the reg edit. So down there, reg edit like this. Then you open this up. In the registry, you go under current user, software, the name of your company, and then the tower. And that's our new save. As you could tell, this is the new value at the very top here, 636017, and it's a really, really long number. It's a U long, and that pretty much determines how many ticks the CPU did since... Is it the CPU? I'm not sure actually. It's like how many ticks. This equals the present moment right now, so that would be the actual date and the minute and the seconds. All of that is included in here. What I'd like to do though is actually wipe this. So we're gonna take this, delete, press F5, it's not there anymore. We can boot the game again. And now we do not get this problem anymore. I am going to click on reset save. And here we go. This is our actual save structure right here. This is everything that is inside of our game. So we've played for 4.5 seconds. We have 0 over here, which is the highest wave completed is 0. And then all our level are here. The amount of gold is still 5555555. And so on. Right. So what exactly do we need to do from there? We need to take a new string, create a new string from nothing that just replace all of these value by zeros. And that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm just saying something really quickly. At the end of our current save string, we have an additional pipe at the very end. I'd like to remove that because it's going to end up causing problem in the future. So back in the tower, under the get save string function, I will add at the very bottom, down there where we do the abilities, and I'm going to remove that pipe. And if we need to add more section after that, we'll put it back. But at the very end, I never want to see an actual pipe at the end of our save string. So let's try that again. And now it's gone. Okay. Now, hopefully you are really attentionate, I guess. Because this is going to be a little bit weird if you never split string before. Well, I mean, we did split a lot of strings before, but this one will do it inside a 2-4 array. So let's start by declaring a new string that we'll call data is equal to save string, and then we're splitting at pipes. Oh, split, and we're splitting at pipes, so that's this thing. Now we have an array of string, we'll do a for on top of it, we'll do a for int I is equal to 0 as long as I is smaller than data.length. Like this, I++, and then we can iterate through every single section of our save structure. Now at this point we're going to create another string array. This is going to be data2. So data at the index I dot split, and we're splitting this time. We're splitting at the percentage sign, and we'll do another for loop on that. So we can't use I anymore, so we'll use j. So int j is equal to 0 as long as j is smaller than data2 dot length j++. And we are going to iterate through that. Alright, so every time we iterate through that, we're going to do a new save plus equal. So we know we just enter a value inside of a section. We want to put a simple 0 in there. Even though it might be like a 4-digit number, then we're still putting only one single 0 in there. And let's do a, whenever we're done with that first iteration, we're going to go outside of the loop, and we're going to do a new save plus equal, and here we're only doing a plus equal pipe. Now we're missing the percentage sign. The percentage sign actually goes in here. So what we'll be doing is we'll always put it in front of the 0 like this. But we don't want one of the percentage sign at the first iteration of this. So we'll do if j is equal to 0, then we're simply going to do new save. Oops, I can't type at all. New save is plus equal to 0 by itself. Else, we do new save is plus equal to this. Alright, let's actually visualize that right now. Reset save, and this is what we get. So let's actually have a look at the console. I know this is not really easy to see, but the first value is over here. We have the first value. We're setting that to 0. That's a bad thing. We don't ever want to reset that value. Well, I mean, resetting it doesn't really matter, but we always going to be putting an actual timestamp in there. So we'll need to fix that. But other than this, it's split properly. So as you can tell, there's only 2 percentage sign before the pipe. Same thing goes here. It's really hard to see. Kind of annoying. But this seems to work fine. We're putting zeros at the level. That's cool. There's only 3 values down there. That's the currency. Also 3 values here. And everything pretty much adds up, except at the very end over here, we have a pipe that, like I said, I don't want to have this pipe over there. We actually need to remove it somehow. So let's go back and fix our 2 problems. The first one being that we need to actually put a timestamp in there if it's the actual first number. So inside of that actual second iteration, I will do a if I is equal to 0. So if we're on the first section and j is equal to 0, the first index of the first section will do a new save is plus equal to datetime dot now dot ticks dot toString. And we'll do a continue because we don't want to run the rest of this, but we still want to run the whole for loop. So it's going to exit and just start over again with a plus plus on j. So the other problem was at the very end we don't want to have a pipe. So what we'll do is over here on top of this new save plus equal pipe, we'll do a if I is not equal to data.length minus 1. So if it is not the last entry, then we go ahead and we put the pipe. And if it's the last entry, it's just not going to do that code. It's just simply going to ignore it. And we can now have a side-by-side comparison of our string. Let's do that. We have the timestamp. Good times, good times, good times. Everything is working fine. And as you can tell, the timestamp just keeps increasing. And that's exactly what we're looking for, basically. And there seems to be an error with the total time, but we can fix that later on. Or is there an actual error? I'm not sure. Anyway, that's an error for later on. We are fixing the save today. So let's proceed. We don't actually reset that. We only created a new empty save string, so that's cool. We return new save. We don't need to display that anymore. The next thing we will be doing now is actually putting it somewhere in our reset save function. So we're going to be like overwriting our stuff. So what we'll do is is saving is equal to true. And then we're going to do a load from string get empty save string. And after that, we're going to do a save cloud. So we're pretty much just loading from an empty save game. And we're just making sure to overwrite that on the cloud. And of course, it's also going to overwrite it locally. So if we head over in the game now, and we just have a look at this, it should actually do the save game again. And then if I keep going inside of that game, everything should be back on 0. So as you can tell, all the values are back on 0. We have a clean save game. Let's test this out. So right now I have 1 rock. That should be enough. Go back here. Press on start. Let's go back in the game. Do I still have 1 rock? Yep, it's still there. And now if I reset my save game beforehand, and I go inside of the game, it should be gone. So as you could tell, the rock is now gone. Alright, so we've made it for the reset save. Everything seems to be working also on my device. I've just tested it out, and I went and I did some kind of weird testing with the cloud on and off. The second thing I'd like to do today is actually make sure we always pick the most recent save. So like I said, if we go outside, we progress in the game without being connected to the cloud. Then we go back inside where there's Wi-Fi, and we just play again. It's going to grab the cloud save. However, the cloud save might not be your latest save. So that's why we're going to be using the timestamp, and we're going to be doing that inside of the save game loaded over here. So that's when we get the data back from the cloud. And pretty much that's what we do. So we take what we get from the cloud, we parse it into a string, and then we get our save string. So we'll define a little bit more in here. We are going to declare 2 strings. The first one being the cloud save, which is pretty much this. So let's grab it. That's our cloud save. And then we'll do the local save, which is just a get save string. Is it that? Or is it... Oh, no, never mind. It's a player pref. Player pref.get string, and we're getting the save string. Make sure you don't make any mistakes in that. We always been writing the save string like that, so that's how it's saved inside of the registry. Now the next thing we'll do is actually grab the first number inside of all of those save string. As you can tell, it's the big one that I don't have anywhere. Oh, maybe here. It's that big number, and that is an actual really big number. It's more than, what is it, 4, 8, 16. It's more than 18 digits. Actually, it's 18 digits. And that doesn't fit inside of a single int. So what we'll be doing is actually parsing it using a ulong instead. So we're going to declare 2 ulong, the first one being cloud time. and we'll parse it. So we do ulong.parse, and then cloud save, split, we're splitting at every single percentage sign. Now, there's probably another way to do this, but what I'll do is I just split at every percentage sign, and then I just grab the first one, because I know that's where my ulong is. And then I'll just grab this again. This is going to be the local time, and local time is the same exact thing, but we are splitting the local save string, like that. And now when it's time to actually load from the string, we should be taking the one that has a bigger time in it. So we're going to do a ternary operator inside of the parameter. That's a little bit overkill, but I find it fun. So let's just say if local time is bigger than cloud time, then we are going to take the local save. Else, we're taking the cloud save. And that is pretty much how, it's really simple, that's pretty much how we made it work. And this one gave me quite a headache when I went to sleep last night, but hey, we figured it out, and it's not that hard at all, finally. Great, so let's have a look at everything. Hopefully there's no error. If there's no error, we're going to be able to call it a day and say that we actually fix our saving mechanic for the whole game. A little bit of polishing will go around that as well, so we'll remove the swap save button since it doesn't really exist anymore. And we'll also add a confirmation on the reset save. Right now it's just, okay, you click on that button and everything is gone. Good times. We'll add the confirmation to that really soon. But other than that, everything seems to be working just fine, and I will just, I quickly boot it on the device and actually have a look at that. So here's our build, and I just realized something. As you can tell, we haven't loaded a save game, and you just saw the tower growing. Whenever the tower grows, that's when we actually load the save game. And it made me realize something, so let's quickly test out the reset save. That seems to work. We click everywhere, and we need to fix that as well. That's boring. If we just go in here, everything is on pretty much reset. That's good. Now I know the camera is a little bit shaky, but my stand just died, so I have to deal with that. Okay, so we have a few items down here, rock, log, all that kind of good stuff. We're gonna go back, save this, and now I'm simply going to move this away as I boot the game again. And I would like to show you one of the bugs that we might encounter in the future. So here it is. Again. We don't reset the save. We're on the cloud right now. I can tell we're on the cloud because, well, I should have shown you the achievement, but I can pretty much confirm that we are on the cloud. We go back here, and the save has been loaded properly. Alright. Now, the bug I'd like to show you is the actual following. And check this out. Oh. Alright, now. So we quickly click on stuff. It hasn't had the time to load from the cloud, basically. So if I just go in the game, every level is on 0. And that's definitely not something that works, because we haven't even loaded the size of the tower. As you can tell, my tower is still the size of a cube. If the focus would be right, and if I had an actual camera stand, that would be great. But basically what happened here is we haven't even loaded the save string. None of them, not even the local one, not even the cloud one. So we'll need to actually block the player while the authentication is going on. And to do that, it's fairly simple. We'll have to go inside of the tower script. And at the very top of my tower script, or anywhere inside of here in the fields, I will create a public bool that I'll call save has been loaded, or save loaded, which is going to be a set get value. And whenever we get that, whenever we do load our game, we're going to set that to true. As simple as that. So let's find where exactly do we load our thing. On save game loaded, so over here. Well, is it over here? Okay, so we're not sure it's actually over here because we might actually... Okay, we're going to do that in the load from string. At the very end of our load from string, we're going to say save loaded is equal to true. Now, inside of the menu manager, where is that menu manager? It's over here. We are going to block the toGame function, or we could be blocking the clicks. It's really up to you. We might be putting that in the onTouch function if you prefer it over blocking the access from the game. And you know what? I'll actually put it in here. So whatever I'm going to be putting up here, you can put it in the toGame function if you still want to have access to the menu while you're authenticating, which really does nothing because you can't access the achievement or the leaderboard whenever you're doing that since you're not connected. So in the untouched, we'll do if the tower, that instance, save loaded. If that's false, simply do a return. You could even say that if it's not loaded, you could add a pop-up manager in there if you wish and just say, just give me like 3 seconds to authenticate or something like that. Right. Now, if I test it on the PC, we're not even going to be able to test this because it's actually going to load so fast. As you could tell, our tower is always that size as soon as we load. And that's because the code actually runs instantly. However, on the device, it needs some time. It actually needs some time to connect to Google Play and do its stuff. So here it is. It's a single cube like that, and I'm pressing everywhere right now. I don't want this to load. And as you can tell, I can't even pop up the normal menu. It has to finish loading. And as soon as the tower grew, that's my clue for when it's actually finished loading, and then I could click on stuff. And that gives me an actual save game in which you can tell those are my values from earlier. I have 1 rock and 2 silks. So guys, that is going to be pretty much it for this episode. We did a nice fix here. It was a required fix. We could not ship with that kind of bug in our game. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like. If you did, please leave me a like. Really appreciate that. If you have any comment or question, please leave them inside of the comment section below or on the Facebook page, whichever seems the best for you. And other than that, please subscribe for more tutorials like these, and I will see you guys in the next one.